Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Timothy, and in today's video, we're gonna be talking about what an emergency fund is and how you can build one. So imagine this. You're at your job and your boss calls you in the office and says you're laid off. All of a sudden, you don't have money to pay for your bills, food, car insurance, your car notes coming up, but you have no money to pay for these things because you are now fired. Now, this scenario could happen to many of us. It could happen to me. It might have happened to you. It could happen to anyone you know. It's a scenario that we all fear. But the good news is that you can prepare for something like this to happen. So let's talk about how an emergency fund can be your financial safety net. So first, what is an emergency fund? It's basically a specific amount of money put aside that is used only in situations when an emergency occurs. So it's really for unexpected expenses like medical bills, job loss, or car issues. If your car breaks down, you can use your emergency fund to help fund the car repairs. It's more than just having money in the bank. It's a financial protection to keep your mind at ease when there's turmoil going on in your life. I know a lot of you have heard the stat that around 44% of Americans can't even afford a $1,000 expense. But don't worry, today I'm going to show you how to build an emergency fund from scratch, so you don't have to be that 44% of the Americans that don't have $1,000 for an expense. Now, how much should you save? Well, the general rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of your expenses, but don't let that number intimidate you. Saving takes time, so this might take a year or two just to build your emergency fund. But one of the best things that you have is time. We all have time on our side to build a better financial future, no matter how old you are. First, we want to start small. Start by saving $5 to $50 a month, and if you can save more, then do that. If you can save $200 a month, save $200 a month, and you can calculate your monthly expenses like housing, transportation, food, insurance, anything that you need to survive. That's what we're going to have in our emergency fund. We're not going to count going out to eat. We're not going to count the gym, because you can go for a walk, you can go for a run, you can go for a bike ride. We're not going to count trips. So then once you have all these numbers added up, you're going to multiply this by 3, which is your 3 months, and 6, which is your 6 months. So for an example, I have my emergency fund number in my notes, and I have the emergency fund amount in my bank account. So for my emergency fund, I have the house, I have electric, water, Wi-Fi, gas, food, car insurance, phone, and then loans. We have student loans. So a total for this would come out to about, for my 3-month emergency fund would be about $7,000. For 6 months would be about $13,000. And then for a 12-month emergency fund would be about $27,000. So you can kind of use those categories to get your number for your emergency fund. Now, when deciding whether you're going to do a 3-month or 6-month, a 3-month would be more for a 2 household income. It'll be more for a house where if you did lose a job, you can get another job within a month or 2. A 6-month would be more recommended for people with a couple kids, you got 1 household income, you just have more things going on in your life, more moving parts. You might want to have a bigger emergency fund like a 6 or even a 12-month emergency fund. So where should you keep your emergency fund? So right now in 2024, we have these high yield savings accounts that are giving you about a 4% to 5% return on your money. So that's where you're going to want to put your emergency fund. You're not going to want to put it in a checking account. You're not going to want to put it in a normal savings account. You want to put it in a high yield savings account. There are many out there like Ally, I think SoFi even has a high yield savings account. I have a Barclays account, even public.com, they have a 5.1 return on your money for the high yield savings account. There's many high yield savings accounts out there. A lot of them are online banks where they don't really have physical locations, and you don't want to have direct access to this. So I recommend you not put it in the high yield savings account that might be attached to your Capital One checking account. By doing that, it just makes it more easy to transfer that money out from your high yield savings account straight to your Capital One to just fund anything you're doing. You might just see $7,000 in your high yield savings account within the one app, and then you're just going to transfer it over. So don't do that. Put your money in a different account that you don't even have a card to, and just use that money for emergencies only. But just make sure when putting your money in a high yield savings account that it is FDIC insured or NCUA insured, just to keep your money safe. So let's go into the practical steps of how to actually build an emergency fund. So first, you want to create a budget. I talked about budgets many times. You want to know how much money is coming in, how much money is coming out. And then you want to set hard limits on how much you should be spending in certain categories. So for example, you're going to look at your previous statements and see how much you've been spending and decide if that's too much or is that too little. And you might come to a conclusion that you're going to be spending $500 a month on groceries. You can come to a conclusion that you're going to be spending $200 a month on gas. You can come to a conclusion that your bills are going to cost $200 a month. You know, going out to eat might be $200 or $300 a month. You're not going to go beyond those categories. It is very difficult, and I budget to this day, and I still sometimes blow my budget by $500 or even $1,000 sometimes. So the second step is to set a goal. You need to set very specific goals when it comes to building an emergency fund. Say your expenses expenses are about $3,500 for the month, that's what you budgeted. So for a 3-month emergency fund, you want to be very, very specific. If your expenses are $3,500 a month, then you want to save $10,500 for your 3-month emergency fund. So that's the goal you should be setting. You should be writing this goal down. You got to put it in your notes and just track your progress as you continue to save. And number 3 is automate your savings. Now this is one of the most important steps to do. You need to automatically save money from your account, whether it's coming straight from your paycheck to your savings account or it's going to your checking account. Then you need to automatically have a certain amount of money transferred. So for an example, say you want to save $10,000 for an emergency fund and you want to do that over a 12-month period. So what you want to do is have money automatically transferred from your checking account when you get paid, move that money to your high yield savings account. So you would have to automate $875 a month that will get automatically transferred from your checking account to your external high yield savings account in a whole different account, not even the same checking account, not with the same bank. You want to move this money from your checking account to an external high yield savings account that you might not even have the card for, because we don't want to be tempted to use this money for stupid stuff, but you just want to continually be able to automate this money to your savings account. And step 4 is to save gradually. So you might get pay raises. You want to continue to gradually increase the amount of money that you're sending to your high yield savings account, because we don't want this to take too long, because right now you're really not going to be able to invest a lot of money into the market because you're saving for this high yield savings account. So you really want to save as much money as you can. Say you save $875 one month, and then you might want to add $50 and see if that affects the way you're living your life. See if you have extra room in your budget to save $50, and then gradually increase that to say 60 or 70 and see how it affects your life. If it doesn't affect it that much, then you can just keep increasing it, maybe every month or maybe the following year. You can increase your saving rate so you can get the emergency fund out the way, so you can continue to invest, or so you can start investing. And then you also want to save unexpected income. So this might be your tax return. But if you get your tax return back, throw it to your emergency fund. If you get a bonus, throw it to your emergency fund. If you get some kind of extra commission, throw it to your emergency fund so you can knock the emergency fund out so we can continue or start investing into our future. And step 6, once you hit your goal, continue to save, but just also be sure to invest. And you can see exactly the process that I do things, process that I think is really good in one of my previous videos where I talk about the financial order of operations created by the Money Guys, of course. You can check that out on my channel, or just type in the financial order operations and you'll see the Money Guys talk about when you should be investing and when you should be saving for your emergency fund. But continue to save, continue to flex this muscle. Maybe you want to take your foot off the gas pedal a little bit so you can enjoy life. You did an amazing thing. You saved $10,000 in a year. You want to also enjoy the money that you do have. So don't be a miser. Don't be a person that just saves all of your income. Just be sure to continue to save, but also invest and enjoy your money at the same time. And step 7, just use extra money that comes to you. If you have money that comes from a bank account bonus, say if you open a checking account, or if you have your money directly deposited into certain bank accounts and you get say $200 or $300, throw it at your emergency fund. Throw all unexpected income at your emergency fund so you can boost it really quick. So when should you use this emergency fund? Only for true emergencies. If it's something that you can work out of by just taking more hours, maybe picking up a second job, then do that. But if it's not for true emergencies, then I would not recommend you use this money. It's really just for those unexpected expenses that you can't cover. And if you need to use it, don't hesitate. Just work to rebuild it after you do use it. Building an emergency fund might be very overwhelming, but it's one of the most important steps you can take towards financial stability. Start small, stay consistent, and watch your money grow. And guess what? When unexpected life events occur, you'll be ready because you have an emergency fund built, and you're not gonna have to rely on someone else or credit cards. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel, and also share this with a friend, share this with a family member, share this with a work colleague, and I will see you guys in the next one.